What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel, and for today's video, there's been a lot of rumors going around as of late over the course of the last month that apparently Drew McIntyre is leaving WWE, but the question is he really? Well, before we get into today's video, guys, we are drawing closer and closer to the goal of 200. I believe we are still at... we are still at 37. We are still at 37 subs away from 200. And as I have said in previous videos, if this channel gets to 200 subs, I will open up this Korean Strike of Neos booster box in its entirety on the channel. On the hopes to potentially pull this guy, Elemental Hero Air Neos. If this channel gets to 500 subs, I will open up this Korean LOB booster box that I got from my partners over at Collector Store. So be sure to check them out. Link and address will be in the description. On the hopes to potentially pull a Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, or even a Dark Magician, maybe even a piece of Exodia. However, if the channel gets to 1,000 subs, I will open up this first edition Toon Chaos box in its entirety on the channel, on the hopes to potentially pull my second collector's rare. Because if you guys missed Saturday's video, I opened up a Genesis Impact box, and I pulled this, a collector's rare Beat Cup from the Underworld, which I believe it's still going for quite the high price, as I am carefully trying to take it out of the top loader and the sleeve. Under the right light, you can actually tell it's a collector's rare. Like this, you couldn't even tell. You couldn't tell it was a... You could barely tell under this. But like this, you can easily tell it's a collector's rare. So if you guys want to see these boxes get opened, maybe you guys want more WWE topic videos in the future, maybe, just maybe, maybe you guys want episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue, maybe you guys want more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue. Well, if you guys want all of that and more, my channel is the place to be. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on the notification bell, give this video a thumbs up, and make sure you guys follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. and I also want you guys to post in the comments below, answering the question of the day, which is this: if Drew McIntyre leaves WWE, where else should he go? Let me know down in the comments below. And also, guys, I'm actually planning on doing something big later on. I don't know when exactly, but I was able to get my hands on 3 packs of Legacy of the Valiant. I'm actually attempting to get practically a full booster box worth. So once I do have it, I'm actually gonna open these up on the channel. So it's 3 down, 21 more to go. It's gonna take some time, but I am definitely gonna be opening up the box, or rather, a sort of a box on the channel. But I have the packs in this old Synchro Storm box. So there it is, right there. 3 packs down. 21 more to go. So let's get straight into it. So obviously we know that Drew McIntyre's last match overall was back at WrestleMania last month in that triple threat match along with Sheamus and Gunther for the Intercontinental title, and it was, I honestly don't know how that was not the main event. Like you look at that title and you think that, and you say and you think, wow, this match was such a banger. Why wasn't this the main event? This was a part of night two of WrestleMania, and it was the third match of the card, halfway into the show. How was that not the main event? Why? How? I just don't know. But we know that the draft also came to pass, and we know that Drew McIntyre has been drafted back to Raw for the first time in 2 years, and I find it interesting because they didn't really use Drew all that much on SmackDown. Even though he did become a tag team champion and a former Intercontinental champion as part of the Raw roster, not Raw roster, as part of the SmackDown roster back in the day, but now things are different. Things are different now. You know, he won quite a few titles as part of the as part of the Raw roster. Obviously becoming tag team champion, Royal Rumble winner, 2-time WWE champion. But with his time on SmackDown, many people are believing that many people are believing that he could be leaving WWE at some point, and he actually went dark on Twitter, removing all references to WWE right after he left, and obviously there have been about 3 or 4 updates in regards to it, and the first update was actually reported by PW Insider. Big shout out, no copyrights as always. Apparently he had took part in several local interviews to promote some, this like Lincoln, Nebraska housed outing for SmackDown, and also the Pinnacle Bank Arena in Nebraska had several promotional images of Drew that was in place for the show, and it was believed that he was originally going to be scheduled to be a part of the offering, I guess, of the event, if you will. And then it was also reported at that time that Drew's current WWE contract is said to expire at the end of this year, which means by January 1st, 2024 at midnight, his contract with WWE will indeed expire, and apparently Drew is said to have a number of factors to consider when it comes to re-signing with WWE. And with WWE, they are like extremely keen on keeping Drew and having him put pen to paper for a new deal. Though he himself is actually happy to wait until he gets closer to the end of his deal. Before making a decision on his future. And again, as I said earlier, we hadn't seen him since WrestleMania, and we don't know if he's going to be re-signing with WWE. Now for the second of that first update was released. That bit of news was actually released on April 16th, so last month. This next one was released the next day, April 17th of this year. And apparently there at that time there's been quite a bit of updates, because apparently Drew at that time has said that he was creatively and financially unhappy with his current deal with WWE, and Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer actually talked about that on his show, saying quote, he's not going to be back at WWE, and he's not going to be back at TV next week. He's not going to be back for a couple more weeks. WWE announced the Madison Square Garden show, which is in July, and he was not announced for that show either. But that's not necessarily. I was just told it's a couple more weeks, and we'll see what happens from there. I mean, let's see. There is an injury and there is a contract issue. Although the contract issue, again, his contract doesn't come due for many months. But as far as signing a new deal, there's nothing new. They're still far apart. So yeah, apparently there really wasn't much of an update. There wasn't really much of an update in terms of whether or not Drew is planning on re-signing his deal with WWE. All we know is that again, now we know this coming July there will be a show in Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, and he's not going to be a part of it. That was April 17th. There was another update just a few days ago, saying that apparently now Drew McIntyre is working with a good chance that he will leave WWE at the end of his current contract, meaning that he is hell-bent on leaving WWE. And shoutouts to Brisk for the pink lemonade. Woo! Ooh, not sponsored, just love the pink lemonade, man. Love this pink lemonade. Don't at me in the comments, people. Anyway, so Dave Meltzer went on in his show at that time, saying, explaining how there might be a really good chance that he might either leave WWE or it could just be a ploy to have Drew McIntyre turn heel, since it would be his last year in WWE. He went on to say quote, it's also very clear the company badly needs a main event heel, and now is the wrong time to turn Rhodes or Rollins, meaning it makes all the sense in the world to turn McIntyre, but more they need to elevate Reed, Priest, Balor, or Mysterio to that top heel level. Because McIntyre right now is working with the idea there's a good chance he's finishing up, he could be a big program for the title as a challenger and finally leave. Perhaps at that point, Randy Orton could return, and there's always people like Brock Lesnar and Omos that they could add in that spot as a temporary headline program. The problem with Rey Mysterio's heel is the fact that, if you guys don't know, his whole career, from his debut in WWE back in 2002 up until now, he was always a babyface. So the idea of turning Rey Mysterio heel is probably the dumbest thing possible because it wouldn't work. In my opinion, it just wouldn't work at all. At all. Yes, obviously there is still time for WWE to elevate guys like Bronson Reed, guys like Damian Priest and Finn Balor and Brock Lesnar and Omos. The problem is that Brock Lesnar, with Roman Reigns still the undisputed Universal Champion, the only title that he can go after is the World Heavyweight title, but knowing Brock, he doesn't want that title. He wants the undisputed Universal title because those two titles was what made Brock Lesnar the man that we see now from over the years. And Omos is at that point now where he can win. He has the potential to win any championship, and he can he can get that title over with the fans. Priest and Balor on the other hand, I feel like the Judgment Day definitely needs to be split because yes, it is working. The problem is that Damian Priest had a hell of a showing this past Saturday at Backlash against Bad Bunny, and it proved that Damian Priest has the potential to go at it on his own, just like he did the first time when he first stepped foot onto the main roster. And it was noted by Dave Meltzer several weeks prior to this being released that McIntyre and WWE were still far apart when it came to agreeing on a new deal, but we don't really know much about Drew and whether or not he's gonna be re-signing. But we do know that he is advertised to be a part of Money in the Bank later this year over in London inside the O2 Arena. So it would make sense to So it would make sense if Drew McIntyre was in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. He wins the briefcase and then cashes it in on Roman Reigns, becomes champion, and then that right there would give Drew the idea that, you know what, maybe this can work. Maybe I do have what it takes to take these two titles and elevate them to heights unimaginable, and that might give him the chance that might make his decision a lot more easier. There has been talks as well about Charlotte Flair winning the women's Money in the Bank ladder match as well, and then cashing it in on Rhea Ripley, but who knows? But it's hard to say whether or not they'll actually turn Drew heel. It's hard to say. But we do have another recent update. This was actually the very next day. This was just about 3 days ago. In regards to Drew's future, and Fightful Select reported that his contract is indeed up in early 2024. So like right around like early January to like late February, like right around there, and as far as Drew at WrestleMania, this might have been his last. Because of the fact that his contract is coming up, and he might end up leaving WWE, and he was left in the dark in regards to his status in the draft. But again, now we know he's going to be drafted. He was recently drafted over to Raw, and it begs the question. What is he gonna do on Raw? That right there is the big question. So we don't really know. We don't know much. But all I can tell you is that if Drew leaves WWE, that right there would be a bad business decision on their part, because Drew, he's already been WWE champion, but let's not forget. Let's not forget he had a few opportunities at the World Heavyweight title back in the day. Back in the day when, you know, inside the Elimination Chamber and in several other matches over the years, but that's the one title that he hasn't held yet. And I think if he were to win the World Heavyweight title, I think that would just cap off his career, and he can easily just get inducted into the Hall of Fame. So we don't know. Personally, I don't want Drew to leave WWE because he is such a fan favorite. He's such a good babyface, because his time as a heel, the first time anyway, you know, when he debuted back in 2009, it worked, but he was a bit immature, if you will. When he became a heel, the Raw after WrestleMania in 2018, it worked, but there were a lot of people who wanted to see Drew as a babyface just to see if it worked. And we got that. We got that after McIntyre eliminated Brock Lesnar from the men's Royal Rumble match in 2020, 3 years ago. So it still works, but him as a heel again, I don't think it would work. Personally, I would love to see Drew re-sign, but only time will tell. Only time will tell. We will find out in the coming months, maybe even in the coming weeks. There's no telling if we'll ever see Drew again post WWE drafts. But again, guys, that brings me to the question of the day, which is this: if Drew McIntyre leaves WWE, where do you guys want to see him go next? Let me know down in the comments below, and that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more WWE topic videos in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.